Every business says they're better, but the ones that earn and display the BBB seal back it up. It instantly identifies businesses that are committed to operating with integrity, honoring promises, and telling the truth. Makes you wonder why every business doesn't have it. So look for it, because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Welcome to a football bonus episode on the Ultimate Spider-Man pod. I'm
Super
John.
Bowl extravaganza. I'm Zach.
Yep. Zach and I were wanting to do a bonus episode, and Super Bowl Sunday was rolling around, and we thought, what a better way to do it than to recap when Spider-Man saved the universe playing football.
Not our Spider-Man, but the other Spider-Man. You know what we mean.
Is it still Peter? Okay, we'll get it. We can get into it.
Yeah. It's a tease. Is there anything else different about this episode, John?
There is. I think I noticed some other different type of music besides "Are You Ready for Some Football?" It sounded a little crazier than our normal intro music.
We had two songs right at the get-go that might have thrown some listeners, might have shattered some expectations. So, as I'm sure you noticed, our standard intro song, arranged by Ian Hickey, is not on this episode, but we liked it so much, we had Ian Hickey make us another one, just for these special little bonuses that you guys are going to get. So, from now until the end of time, when you hear that extra funky version of our theme song, you know you're in for a bonus episode.
Yep. Thank you, Ian.
Yeah, you killed it on both.
So, Zach, you've got news that you wouldn't tell me.
Got big news. Yeah, so I texted
and I
you.
took a guess, but we'll see.
You're not right.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Not a bun in the oven. So this week, Shyla and I did a date to the Nine Lives Cat Cafe in Fountain Square.
Yeah, yep.
We went there just on a date, and they have all these kittens and everything, and they're all playful and cute. And then there's one older one that's like in the corner that's like kind of like scared or whatever. And our two cats are named
who I can see crawling up on the cat tree behind you.
Yes, their names are Storm and Rogue from the X-Men.
Okay.
And I see
this one had an X-Men name. Jean
I see
Grey.
this one little cat pop her head around the corner, and I'm like, oh, she's so beautiful. What's that one's name? And they're like, oh, that's Jubilee.
Oh my gosh.
She's the oldest one here that's still up for adoption. She's like a year and a half old. She looks exactly like them. Like, she looks more like Storm's sister than Rogue does. And I petted her for like 40 minutes, and then Shyla petted her for like 40 minutes, and then we petted her together for like 40 minutes, and she just like melted into our laps.
Oh my gosh. So you got her.
Yeah, we got her.
Amazing.
So they have never met another cat since they were like kittens. And I don't even know if they remember meeting my old dog, because that was so long ago too. So she's in the bathroom right now. I was like researching how do you best acquaint them, because we don't just want them to fight.
Yep. Smell them through the door. And
she's in the bathroom.
Put like a gate up so they can see each other. And then you just integrate them.
Yep. So she's been with us one night. I got hardly any sleep last night because she kept crying in the bathroom because she was alone.
Oh.
So from like midnight to 1, and then from like 2 to 7, I was in there with her. And I know you have fostered cats before. You've introduced new cats.
Yeah.
I wanted to get your take on it. I've already done a lot of research, but
I mean,
anything you can add.
That's perfect. And maybe she might, like, I doubt she's going to be aggressive at all because she's got to be so comfortable with other cats.
Yeah.
So hopefully that like sense will just make it so your other cats are not aggressive because we have fostered some cats and the really old ones that we got when they were like hurt and chill and just like wanted to like relax and do nothing. You know, Omaha, which is my cat, she got along with them without any like aggressive stuff. They just hung out, you know. But then there's been other ones where, you know, if Omaha's getting hissed at, she hisses back. And Percy is an absolute psycho. He just hates everything. So with some cats, that's just gonna, you know, I bring like the teeniest kitten home, and Percy is like in attack mode. It's insane.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it'll be easy since she's already chill and you're doing it the right way, like
Yeah.
so they can smell each other and stuff like that.
So because I'm not really used to or like didn't have a baseline of what to expect as far as behavior on other sides of the door, they all clearly know that the other ones are there now. They've heard
Yeah.
her
Oh yeah.
meow, and she knows that there's other cats on the other side. Um they're not like hissing at the door and beating it or anything. Like one of them seems pretty focused on it. Like she'll walk by that door and look at it more and like kind of meow at it sometimes. The other one acts like she couldn't care less. She hears the
Yeah.
meows and she's just like, "Oh yeah, that's the new cat that's in the bathroom." Like she's
Yeah.
surprisingly chill about it. Do you think that's like a sign of good things to come, or is it too early to tell?
Yeah. I think they'll be chill. I got a good feeling. I'm confident.
I hope so. I was a nervous wreck because I had fallen in love with this cat and I was like, clearly she's smitten by us too. And I'm like, what if I have to bring her back because they don't get along? I was like
No,
shaking
but you know
in
what?
fear
They'll
of that.
learn. They learn. They'll just live with it. It's not like, you know, sometimes they don't have a choice at a certain point, you know.
Right. But if they don't know that, they can, beat
Yeah.
beat the crap out of her,
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
it'll come to an end sometime.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Congrats.
Thank
Sort of a
you.
bun in the oven.
Yes. It's funny. Like we had other people that we kind of teased it to, and they were like guessing baby stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, but our family is growing by one. Yeah.
But that is awesome. That is fantastic news. I love it.
Yes.
I've been
Thank
wanting
you.
another kitten myself.
Yeah. It's weird. She's like a full grown cat, but we have to think of her as the baby because,
Yeah.
she's like
Oh yeah.
5.5 years younger than the other ones. And it's like,
Yeah.
but she's the same size. It's weird to wrap our heads around.
Yeah. That is. All right. Let's get into football.
Are you ready for some football?
So this is the Stanley Presents Web of Spider-Man, titled Fourth and Eternity. Great title. Written by Jim Shooter, penciled by Sal Buscema, inked by Vince Colletta, lettered by Rick Parker, and colored by the one and only Janet Jackson.
There's another Janet Jackson, apparently.
Okay, so Spider-Man is in his black suit. I thought this was Venom for the first couple minutes reading this, but
Nope.
Spider-Man is in his black suit watching a group of kids playing football from the side of a building. We
And
are clearly in the sixth. Yes.
Sorry,
Yes,
sorry.
Zach?
I'm
No.
gonna interject here just for
Interject a lot.
a little
Interject a lot.
context. So we said at the beginning, this is not our Peter Parker. So we are following the Ultimate Spider-Man in our main series of Earth 1610. This is the main Marvel universe, Earth 616, the Spider-Man that Stan Lee created and Steve Ditko created in 1963. So this is a much older issue. I think this is from like 87 or something.
Is this the 80s? I thought it was older. I thought it was the 60s.
No, it's like the mid 80s. So when John says he's in his black suit, it's like the black symbiote suit that I'm sure you've seen in any iteration of Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man 3 had it. I'm sure the video games have had
Yeah.
it. It's the
Like I
alien
said,
suit.
I thought it was Venom. I thought
It's
this was going to be a Venom versus Spider-Man football game,
on the
and I am
gridiron.
so glad I was wrong. I would have loved reading that, but this was.
I
Well,
don't
I just
think
want to get into
Venom
it. I'm
would
just excited
adhere.
to get into it.
I don't think Venom would adhere to any rules. I think he'd be like
That
Indomitian Sue out there, just like stepping on people's
in
faces, eating
in
their heads off.
in my notes, after I read this first like two panels and I like typed up notes on it, I said I can't wait to watch Venom f up some kids in football because I thought that's what was gonna happen. I was like, you know, we find out right away the team's down by like 1,000,000 points, and I was like, Venom's gonna come in and just like run over these kids.
I'm like 90% sure this issue even predates Venom as a character.
Oh, really? Okay, that's interesting. Okay, well, so Spider-Man is watching from the side of a building, kids playing football, and the first page, it's just phenomenal. I'm going to read it. Well, some of the local young gentle Lurkins are tossing the old oblong pigskin around. Are there no windows left to break? No old folks left to mug? Ball's probably full of crack.
Yep, that's Jim Shooter writing for you.
Is it? I don't know who that is, but that's why I thought it was the 60s. I was like, this is so strange.
Oh no, Jim Shooter is like the most Stan Lee writer since Stan Lee, probably. He wasn't even supposed to be a writer.
That's why I thought it was the 60s.
He was the editor of Marvel Comics, and his run as editor had many highs and many lows, and he only wrote like a few things that I know of. Like he did the Secret Wars and Secret Wars 2 events. Those were kind of his babies. And his
that's
dialogue
about to be a really big thing now. He's hopefully he's getting some royalties, but
they actually reused that name for a different event in 2015, and I think that's what the MCU is going to be based off of.
Well, then he's definitely not getting royalties.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I don't generally care for Jim Shooter dialogue, but I will give him credit for this story because it was kind of a cute one.
I'm very happy with it, and I love gentle gherkins or whatever.
Gentle
I had to look
Lurkins.
it up to even know what that meant.
Is it a
And
real
it means,
word?
like it's like young. Well, Lurkins is like hooligan kids, so it's like gentle Lurkins is like gentlemen. Like I don't know.
Gentlemanly
Amazing.
hooligans.
I can really see Peter Parker saying this.
Okay. I can't see anyone saying this except for maybe Jim Shooter.
An old racist man.
Yeah, get off my lawn.
Gentle Lurkins are playing football with their crack ball.
Yeah.
Zooming in on the kids, we have a football game going on. I'm going to call the teams the red team and the blue team. The red team has thrown a touchdown pass to what appears to be their best player named Truck, and he absolutely trucks over the younger, smaller defenders on his way to the end zone. Think Marshawn Lynch in his run against the Saints.
Yeah, this is clearly like the backyard football games that you actually see in real life, where it's like, there'll be a bunch of 9 and 10-year-olds, and then like the, 18-year-old senior high school actual football player who's like someone's brother or something. Like he's probably a teenager, but he's like fully grown and he's muscular. And I mean, these kids like haven't even hit puberty yet that he's just running through.
So he scores, and the score is now 42-0 red team. And I can't help but quickly notice 420. One of the kids he trucked over is hurt and can't play anymore. The injured kid suggests the red team also sits out a man to keep the teams fair. And this truck refuses, and they're already up 42-0. And now they're like, nope, you got to play a man down. Like, really insecure. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like insecure. You're already up 42-0. Do you really need the man down just so you can win like 97-0? It's not that big.
He wants a 3-digit point
Yeah,
differential.
yeah. So Truck says, "So are you going to play a man short or are you going to forfeit the game?" And then, boom, we get a panel of Spidey's eyes just watching, and we know what's about to happen. And that's where I said, "Oh, I can't wait to see Venom to just kill some kids on the field." So, meanwhile, on the moon, we cut to the moon. Two aliens, Asa and what appears to be his assistant or just another alien, are breaking into the Watcher's home for not any reason to kill the Watcher or to steal anything from him, but just to win a bet. Asa and this guy have made a bet that Asa cannot break into and incapacitate the Watcher in his home.
And Asa
Yes.
is a Kree. I know we have listeners who don't read comic books, don't watch the movies or whatever. But for those who do follow Marvel Comics, the Kree are kind of like one of the more noteworthy alien races. They're generally thought to be bad guys. They're like green, like shapeshifter dudes. And the other
No, that's
guy,
the Skrulls.
I'm sorry, yeah, he's a Skrull.
No, don't take it out. Don't take it out.
Okay, I'm gonna own my mistakes. In my defense, I do not care about Marvel Cosmic. I don't read. I don't. Usually, when I see Korean scroll stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go back to Spider-Man and the X-Men.
Yeah. So he's a Skrull. Okay, well, I'm still glad you said that because I didn't know. I just thought there was some random alien race. I
well,
didn't really
the
pay
other
attention
guy
to it.
is. I don't think the other guy is
He
a
doesn't even
scroll.
get, or he does get a name. They mention it like Grunt or something, but
He
I
looks
don't
like
even know.
a conehead. So I'm not
Yeah.
really sure like how they found each other, what they're doing. It's not explained.
They're just gambling with each other, I think. They're just
Oh,
making a bet.
okay.
This guy made a bet that he could break into the Watcher's home, and they bet for all of this other guy's money. It's like 1.8 billion credits or something. So then we see the Watcher inside his home, and it says the Watcher is in his home performing his duties, observing the universe, and he's just standing in his kitchen watching TV. It's
That's
like yeah, Zach.
that's what he do, baby.
Yeah, it looks exactly like I look every single morning when I'm making breakfast. So he's watching all this and he can sense that he can't see something around him, and it's because this Asa has some cloaking device that he got from Galactus, and it's supposed to be able to cloak him from the Watcher. So all of a sudden he's like, I can't sense what's happening. I need to prepare for battle. And then just when he thinks that Asa breaks in and incapacitates him with the same weapon that's the closing device, and they
Which
say for the
doesn't make
yep.
any sense to me because I know for a fact whenever Galactus is coming around, the Watcher usually knows. Like he's watching for Galactus. That was like how they were both introduced. So I
So
don't know.
it sounded to me like so Asa says this is the first time in history Watcher's fallen helpless to a non-cosmic person, and his bet, the guy he made the bet with, he's like, how did you incapacitate him? And Asa's like, it's this weapon I got from Galactus. It can cloak me, it can fight, it can basically do just whatever I want. So to me, it sounded like reading this, it was just like a magic weapon of a sort
Oh
where
yeah.
anything he wanted it to do, it could do.
Yes, that's 100% the
And maybe
case.
he
I'm just
doesn't realize that right at this second, but as we find out, it's just you can just do anything with this weapon.
yeah, no, I get that. It's just a plot device, but
Yeah.
I'm wondering like, oh, so if
Glad
Galactus had
Galactus
this
never used
thing,
it.
yeah, what are you doing, bud?
So we're back on the football field, and Spider-Man jumps down. He's like, "Do any of you guys need one?" And Truck says Spider-Man can play, but they have to make special rules from him. So he gets a bunch of special rules: no webs, no jumping. He has to count to 5 before rushing. No super strength. It's 2-hand touch for Spider-Man, and he has to play with one hand behind his back. So Zach, right away, fair or not fair for Spider-Man? That's a lot of rules.
Totally fair because he still has agility, he still has speed, he just can't jump. And I don't know if spider sense like goes off when, like there's a defender closing in on him or something, or I don't know. But
It seemed like
theoretically,
it didn't
he
actually.
could have that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Okay.
super speed and super agility on a regular football field with
Yeah.
someone who's got one hand and isn't jumping, that's still, helpful
Yeah.
against some kids.
And you're still a grown man playing against children.
Exactly. The only person even close to his size is Truck.
Yeah. Okay. I think I agree. Fair. So on the very first play, Spider-Man goes long and catches a ball at the 8-yard line. Zach's looking at his phone. I can tell in his notes they returned a kickoff and then it was the very first play. Is that what you were about to say?
Oh no, I mean that's not important, but I just
Oh,
like that
okay.
he catches it with one finger
Yep.
because that's the other thing. He's got his
Yeah.
sticky fingers. He just
Yeah.
holds up his index finger and the ball stops right on it and it says
Yep.
pick, like as the sound effect.
But he's out on the 8. And Spider-Man's like, well, it doesn't matter. We'll just score on the next play. And I think this might be why we know he doesn't get Spidey sense for football games, because on the very next play, his team fumbles and the red team recovers it. The first play, yes.
I don't think the Spidey sense would tell him, hey, some other kid's about to fumble the ball. I think it would tell him like, hey, you're about to catch this pass and Truck is behind you about to hit you or something.
I don't think it will tell him that another kid's about to fumble either, because it doesn't.
Right. So I just don't think that's evidence
but
that he's not using it.
But if like Mary Jane is in danger and Spider-Man's not, and someone else has like a gun on Mary Jane, he can feel that, right? So couldn't he sense that the ball is like slipping out of this kid's hands and it's about to hurt his team? I don't know. I'm just,
it's not
he must not care enough about it.
It's not an all-knowing power. First of all, I'm sure some writer somewhere has put it in a plot that he could use his spider sense to sense danger for someone else. I don't think it should.
Oh, can he normally? Oh, okay. I didn't even. I
it
just
might
assumed.
You might be right. We might get to some point that I've forgotten about in the Ultimate series where that's exactly what happens. But I'm just saying, to me, that doesn't make sense, and I don't think, you can put it in to serve the story, but I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't expect him to know that the ball's about to get fumbled either. And I think you're right that he can probably sense if he's about to get trucked, because he might even do it later. But I don't.
Do you think Truck ever says you just got trucked to these
100
kids?
times a day, walking through the halls at school. So the red team scores on their very first play. The entire team blocks Spider-Man, and they just throw it to Truck, and Truck trucks all the kids and runs for another touchdown, 41-0. And Spider-Man thinks to himself, man, it'd be easier to bench press Yankee Stadium than to win the game with all of these rules. So back on the moon, we learn Asa was able to sneak up on the Watcher. We already kind of said this, but he used an old weapon of Galactus. And now, with Galactus's weapon, and he thinks to himself, oh, the Watcher has a bunch of weapons. I'm going to steal these, and I'm going to just like rule everything. And the Watcher tells him that he's not going to help him find the weapons, even if he kills him. But he warns Asa, however did you say it?
I don't think he's a main character that ever comes back.
Okay. The Watcher warns him that his weapons have safeguards all over him. So, and I think it's really funny. Asa just stomps his feet and goes, "That's not fair." And now we combine the A plot with the B plot, Zach, because we learn that Asa is a gambling addict and he needs some action. So he asked the Watcher to make a bet. And if Asa wins, then the Watcher has to give him all of his weapons, and of course he's going to kill him. And if the Watcher wins, then he not only lets the Watcher win, but he also lets the Watcher take Galactus's weapon. And the Watcher accepts.
Which
and Yeah, go on.
He has no need to do that. He had like that was so stupid of him. All he did was give the watcher a way out when he had already won. Like
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
it's only because he showed up there and changed his mind and said, "I want his weapons too." Because if he had just been like, "I snuck up on the watcher, I won my bet," like
And just take his Galactus gun.
he would have been fine.
Well, maybe he will be fine because he still gets to pick any bet in the universe that he wants to make. And they spend a couple panels flipping through the channels of the Watchers TV, and they see dinosaurs fighting and elections, and they're trying to decide what they want to bet on. And then they flip to this football game on Earth, and Asa is like, "Why are you watching this random Earth football game?" And Uatu, that's the Watcher's name, he's like, "Well, Spider-Man's playing in this game, and he's kind of important." And Asa is like, "Oh my gosh, I love this game. Football is my favorite sport," because he can automatically understand it because he's watching the Watchers TV, and it has some like psycho what's the
It
word psychological things where it's beaming how the game works into his head as he's watching him, so he can
it's like
understand the context.
giving him the context of what he's watching, whatever's on the TV. So like with those elections, he's probably just seeing two people on screen and being like, "Oh man, I hate their platform on, solar panels or something." Like he probably knows, like that's so funny to me that the TV screen comes with
Yes,
extra
all
knowledge
the
that you need.
context for everything. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is funny.
These are very Jim Shooter things. It's a weapon that also does this and also this, but those are the exact things the plot needs. And
Well, the TV thing would really happen for the watcher because you would not expect him to be able to watch every single second of every single thing that's happening, which means when he turns something on to see it, he has to immediately know the context of every single thing that has happened leading up to
that's his job though. He's the watcher.
it.
He documents and records and archives all this
his,
stuff.
his
He
job
doesn't
is to literally watch everything.
If his TV can do that, then just DVR it, TiVo it, and send it back to Watcher
That's
headquarters.
what I'm saying. He's making breakfast, so he's just watching it to catch up on everything he missed.
It seems like he's already automated his own job then.
Yeah. Yes, that's funny. He has. Okay, so we flip to the football game, and now it's 56-0. So they've scored it. Truck's team has scored again in the meantime. And Asa is like, "Okay, this is the bet that I want." They're up 56-0. This is over. And he's already gloating on it being out of the game. And Duatu just says, "The game's not over." And it really reminds me of the 2006 Colts vs. Patriots because you've probably seen the things also where the whole first half, Tony Dungy's just walking up and down the sideline. And he's like, we're going to win. This is our time. Okay. Where I promise we're going to win this game. And that's what the watcher reminded me of in this.
Yeah. Just a steady, confident
Yeah.
coach
Yeah.
who's not, they don't even know is their coach.
Yeah.
Did you notice something a little bit
tell me.
before that? So there's a panel where Spider-Man is running the ball and he says, "Gangway troops, I'm going to make Newt Rockney proud or die trying."
Yes, I did notice that, and I thought about writing, should I mention the Newt Rockney thing? And then I was like, nobody's going to care about Newt Rockney. But
Well,
yes.
I think it's funny because in 1987 or whenever this was published, nobody would have cared about Newt Rockney.
Oh, I was thinking maybe that's when he was like the biggest coach in the nation because he was like winning with Notre Dame or something. I don't know.
No,
I don't know
that
when.
was
He was like with the 40s, wasn't
that was
he?
like the 30s or 40s or 50s. This is Jim Shooter being an old man thinking, "Oh, the kids today still know my football players, right?"
Well, we do. But do
Well,
we only know Newt Rockney because we live in Indiana?
I mean, I know him because I'm a football nut, but I also noticed
Yeah.
he spelled the name wrong. He added in a Y at the end.
That is funny. Wow. I definitely did not notice that. Okay, so where are we? I'm looking for where we are. I'm looking. Oh, so while Asa is watching this game, he's kind of over by himself in the corner, and he uses the watcher's computer to see everything that his weapon can do. In the same way that the TVs show everything that's happened, he's like, I wonder if this thing can show me everything that my weapon can do. And it can do, as we said earlier, it can do whatever he wants it to do. So he can conquer the universe or the multiverse or whatever with this weapon.
Yeah.
And that's why Uatsu says he took the bet, because it's so dangerous. He needs to do whatever he can, even if it's like taking the worst bet in the world, betting on a team down 56-0. He has to do it to have the chance of taking this weapon away from him.
Its real power is helping out lazy writers.
Its real power is the friends we made along the way.
Its real power is Jim Shooter was on a bender, and this is what he could come up with.
Oh gosh, I need to read more from this guy. I like him.
You truly don't. It's okay.
So Spidey finally scores a touchdown. We're back on the field. It's 56-7. And then he gives a corny inspirational speech about believing in yourself and being the best that you can be. And if you forget what it says on the scoreboard, I don't care what the score says at the end of the game. In my book, you're going to be winners. And Asa is gloating, and the watcher knows there's still time on the clock, though. And all of a sudden, the TDs just start rolling in. Spidey catches one. They return an interception for a TV. Before you know it, it's 56-45. Their football math is a little shaky in this, Zach. I'm sure that you noticed that also. I'm positive you were adding it up as you were seeing stuff.
It's questionable at best.
It's questionable. I think I figured out what needed to happen, though, because it's 56-45, and then it cuts back, and Asa is like, it's so funny. He's yelling at the TV like a gambling degenerate. And and I say this as someone who tried to gamble for a living and does not do it anymore because it was not profitable for me.
You don't say.
Yeah, I know. Shocking. And he's yelling at the TV. He's like, you can't get tackled in your own end zone. It's a safety. Everybody knows that. And that's what made it 56-45. So what had to have happened was there were some mixed extra points to go with the touchdowns. Okay. That's what I figured out happened. They scored all those touchdowns, and then they missed a couple extra points, and then they got the safety. So now it's 56-45.
Or maybe they were going for 2 sometimes.
That could definitely be it. That could be. Maybe they were going for 2 and they failed. But either way, they messed up at something.
What if
they weren't getting 7 points for every touchdown they scored?
Right. What if the watcher's TV also has magic powers that just, randomly appear when necessary, and him yelling at that team, like, they hear it and they're like, you know what? We need to play smarter ball, guys.
That'd be awesome. He could communicate with them 2 ways. Yeah. So with 1 minute left in the game, it's 56-45, and Asa, whoops, I just edited my notes. Asa cheats and beams down a power boost to Truck, which is apparently something the watcher's computer can do.
Sure.
I guess now I'm seeing the Jim Shooter thing of just anything can do anything. Just keep the story moving.
Exactly. It's like he started writing and he didn't even know where the story was going.
So he beams a power boost to Truck, and Truck immediately hits a blue team kid as they score a touchdown, and it makes it 56-51. So once again, they must miss this extra point because it doesn't go to 56-52 or 53. So they score a touchdown, but the kid who scores gets injured, and because Truck just got superpowers and knocked him out. So now Truck is like, the game is over. You guys are a player short. And the other team's like, well, earlier you said we could play a player short, but now the game's over. And he's like, that's just the way it is. Those are the rules. And because he's insecure, he's worried about losing now.
And at this point, he should be, because they've just pretty much come back.
And the other team has Spider-Man.
Yes. I mean, that had something to do with the comeback.
And Spider-Man's like, kid, you'd be a great lawyer because you are full of it, man. And just then, Gerbil, the injured kid from earlier in the game, leaps off the bench and he's like, Spider-Man, I believe in myself. I can play now. And Spider-Man's like, you are literally limping as we're like as you're walking onto the field. You cannot be playing in this football game. And just then we get a Peter tingle, and Spider-Man notices, I think this game is more important than just this game. This something about this feels important. And he's like, okay, kid, you're in. We need
There's
you.
no way. No way. I'm calling BS.
On the Spidey sense?
Yes.
No, I loved it.
Why would it just now be a thing then? Like that this is the most dire moment. Like why didn't when he jumped in the game, he's like, "Oh, wait a minute. This game has
Oh
repercussions."
my gosh. You know what I want to look up?
Like
What okay, what year was this made? Do you know?
I think 87. So it says 85 at the top of
Okay.
this,
Oh
but
my gosh.
I think that's when the
Yeah.
series started.
I know exactly what happened from Jim. His name is Jim Shooter also, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know exactly what happened and how this came to be.
Okay.
Jim Shooter watched the movie Hoosiers and loved it because there is a character named Shooter in it
Okay.
who also goes on benders, which it maybe sounds like is what this
No,
guy does.
no. Do
No,
not
okay,
take my
okay,
word for
okay,
that.
okay. I'm not gonna say that, but there is a character named Shooter in it, and he's a great character. I really like Shooter. So there's that. There's the speech that Spider-Man gives about believing in yourself and forgetting about what the score says and just be the best you can be. And our listeners probably don't know, and you might not even know, but I ended when I was doing that speech with the actual Hoosiers speech because it reminded me of it so much. And then in the movie Hoosiers, the kid gets injured. It's actually Shooter's son that gets injured. And the coach is like, you got to go play. We need you. And then they end up, and then he's like, he has a better moment and he's like, never mind. This kid is like hurt, bleeding to death. You cannot go back into the game and play. And he takes him out and he's like, you're too hurt to play. And that's kind of what Spider-Man was doing. And I think, and that movie and Hoosiers came out in 1986.
I like where you're going with this. I really do. I don't want to like break your heart because I can tell it's really important to you that Jim Shooter had a plan for this issue. I think you're just describing every movie trope like in a sports genre. And I think that's what he's going
I
for
think I might be. I think I might be also.
because you're just if you're trying to manufacture high drama for a sport that like isn't real, then these are the things you come back to is, oh, all hope was lost. Oh, they had to rely on an injured player. Oh, the stakes were high. Like, what else could
But
he
you've got
say?
to admit the coincidences with the Shooter name and the year and the inspirational speech. I don't know, Zach. I
No,
might, he specifically talks about forgetting what the score is and just believing in yourself. And that is the exact speech from Hoosiers. But that's the exact speech from every movie. You're right.
I like
Okay.
that you're tying it together like that. I'm going to pretend this is like Daredevil and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing.
Yeah.
And you're completely right. And the
Okay.
resemblance is just uncanny. But I
Ooh,
think there's probably 8 other things where the resemblance would be uncanny.
Probably. So Spider senses with the Spidey sense that there's something more important to this game, and he lets Gerbil, the injured kid, play. So they kick off because they just scored a touchdown, and Truck has the ball, and he's running like a truck, and because he's got the superpowers, and Spidey can't tackle him, he's just hanging off him, getting dragged because he's not allowed to use his super strength. But he is able to poke the ball loose. So he causes a fumble and the blue team falls on it. And Zach, how did he cause the fumble? Was it dirty?
No,
Did he use a second hand or a web or something? I didn't see.
It was a peanut punch.
Okay, that's what I thought too. But then afterwards, Truck is like, "That was a dirty play," and I was like, "I don't see how it was dirty."
Truck
I was
is a
thinking
no.
maybe.
crybaby. He's
That's
that kid
true.
who's going to complain whenever anything fairly goes against him, and he's going to downplay it whenever, he can, skirt the rules to his advantage. He's just that kid that you hate playing sports with.
Yeah. So the blue team's got it. They're down 56-51. There's 8 seconds left. Time for one more. It happens once an episode, folks. Time for one more play in the game. And Spider-Man's like, I'll go deep. And they're like, no, everyone's going to be expecting that. Which also happens in Hoosiers, by the way. They're like,
So
we need
what?
to give the ball to. They're like, we need to give the ball to Jimmy, and they're like, everyone's going to be expecting that. We need to run a play for someone else. So I'm making these connections on the spot. I didn't think about this.
I get it, but okay, we're gonna send the one guy that's adult sized, has super speed and sticky fingers. We're gonna send him deep, and they say, "Oh no!" But all the 12-year-olds will know that's what we're doing. So what? Sometimes the whole stadium knows that you might run Marshawn Lynch at the 1 yard line at the end of the Super Bowl, and you still have to do it.
You don't have to.
I'm just saying, it's the smart thing to do.
Yeah. So they decide, like Zach said, they're sending Gerbil deep. Nobody's going to be covering him. He's limping down the sideline, So Spider-Man is going to be the quarterback, which I don't know about the strategy of that, but...
Yes, that's another thing. So if you think they're all going to go after him, send him the other way as a decoy.
Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen, but Spider-Man is the QB. So I guess they are thinking we're just all going to rush him, which is not great strategy by the defense either, but
this
12-year-olds.
This issue relies on two things. Tools that, randomly have extra powers whenever you need them to, and assuming the audience doesn't have any football sense.
That's true. Yeah. I don't think they expected two people who watch football and play football, or not play football, but watch football as much as we do to be analyzing this.
Yeah, 30 years later, no less.
So Spidey calls hike. He throws it deep. 8 seconds left. We cut to the ball in the air. Back to Gerbil. 7 seconds left. Back to Owatu watching. 6 seconds left. Back to Truck. He's watching the ball in the air. 5 seconds left. We cut to the ball. Back to Spidey. To the ball. To Asa. There's 2 seconds left. We cut back to Gerbil. 1 second. He's got it. But he's short of the goal line, Zach. He's 5 yards short. And there's only one thing between him and the goal line, and it's Truck. And Gerbil, taking Spider-Man's speech to heart, plows through Truck on the way to the goal line. Touchdown, blue team, 58-56.
He trucks Truck.
Did I say that?
No.
Oh my! How did I miss that? He trucked Truck. Asa panics quickly and thinks to himself as the game ends, I need to kill the Watcher before I release him, obviously. The Watcher teleports Asa's weapon away instantly as he's thinking about that. I don't know how he got out. Maybe he could have gotten out the whole time. Oh, he released him to watch the game, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Asa released the yeah.
Because he's like, oh, I know you're honorable. You're not going to screw me over.
Yeah, so that's why I was wondering during the game when Asa is like finding out more about his weapon and beaming down powers, where was the Watcher? Was he just like letting him explore his like kitchen?
He had that much faith in Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's just like watching the game. So Uatu teleports Asa's weapon away. He says, I know you tried to fix the bet by giving Truck. He says, I don't know how you tried to fix it, but I know you did something, referring to him giving Truck superpowers. And he knows he was about to welch on the bet also. And Asa begs him for mercy, and the Watcher says, you will have mercy, but you are going to regret it. And he teleports him away. We cut to the interior of a Vegas casino blackjack table. The dealer accidentally deals a joker out and apologizes, saying he's nervous. This is my first day on the job. the man at the table doesn't think anything of it. He says, "Oh, it's okay." And he picks the card up and he kind of laughs it off. And he's looking at the Joker and he says, this poor fellow looks like he might want to be in on the action. And the dealer says, "You think the Joker would like to make a bet? You've been looking at that card too long, sir." We cut to the Joker card and we see it's Asa, and he's been trapped into a poker card forever, watching people bet, but never being able to get on the action himself.
And he's the card that they always get upset to see because he's not supposed to even be in the deck.
I didn't even catch that. So he might not even get to watch. He's going to have all of this going around all the time, and he's just like, going to be stuck in the deck,
face down in the bottom of the deck, hearing like the chips hit the table, and people get excited.
Truly a terrible hell for a gambling degenerate.
Yeah, let's not give him any resources to try and overcome his addiction. Let's just throw him in the system.
Let's make it worse.
Yeah.
Let's put this alcoholic in a bar watching other people drink forever.
That'll teach his lesson.
Yeah. What did you think?
I mean, I think we know what I think.
I know, and I think we know what I think too.
Okay, do you have a grading scale for us?
I do.
What's our grading scale?
I thought this was phenomenal. I had so much fun reading it. It was my favorite episode we've done. Also, we should have said this at the beginning, but Zach and I couldn't. If you are trying to follow along with this episode on Marvel Unlimited, you are having a hard time finding it because it's not on there. And we thought we weren't going to be able to record this in time for the Super Bowl. So I went on eBay and I just bought the first one I could find. It's not like it was crazy expensive. It was like $25. So I have this comic book actually shipping to me right now. And then Zach did find it on some shady site that keeps giving me pop-ups like a million times while I try to read it.
Same.
So we did end up getting to read it, but I am so glad that I bought this comic. I'm going to be so happy to put it next to my Batman comics that I have.
Yeah, I was going to say you should like frame it and display it.
I might actually. That's a good idea. So my grading scale, I gave this a Super Bowl 57 out of 57.
Ooh, okay. I like it. Man, I was so ready for a scale of 10. I got to think here what that would even be. So I can get down with like the cheesy old-timey comics. Some people are going to be mad that I called something from the 80s old-timey, but it's older than me. I can get down with like the cheesiness and the fun and it not being that serious. I just don't love the like sometimes that's done in a way where you're like, oh, that was cute and like kid friendly and kind of silly, but also sort of well planned out. And this wasn't that. This was like this was just like a goofball issue that you could tell was treated like that when it was being made.
It was, and I really, really liked that. That's one thing I thought about. I was like, not every episode has to go towards a bigger thing. And like, I guess technically the universe was at stake, but it never felt like it really,
No.
It was just two guys betting on like two intergalactic people betting on a game of touch football or something on Earth. And I just thought it was fun. And it reminded me of a Superman and Batman comic, but I've never read, but I have heard about it. And it's just like Superman and Batman going out, like having a day where they like play tennis against each other and, just do like normal people stuff. And I'm like, that's fun,
Yeah. I like the lighthearted issues sometimes. I mean,
yeah.
I love it when, you get like an X-Men issue where they're just playing baseball or going to the mall or something.
Yeah.
We're even going to encounter some things like that in the Ultimate series, and I'll probably, be really favorable to it. I'll say this was my favorite Jim Shooter written comic ever. What'd you say it was out of Super Bowl 57?
Super Bowl 57 out of 57 is what I gave it.
I'm going to give it 37 out of 57 Super Bowls.
Okay. So now real quick, if that happens to be the 2006 did you already look that up? Is that what that is? Is that the 2006 Super Bowl? No,
No,
we
that
won
was
in like
41.
41, didn't we? Yep.
Yeah.
Look at that. We both knew that off the top of our heads.
XLI, baby.
Okay. Super Bowl, you said 37?
Yeah. Wait, don't tell me. I'm going
Okay.
to work backwards. I bet I can tell you who played and who is the MVP. So 40.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
so
I'm very excited for this.
so obviously 41 was Colts, 40 was the Steelers, which would mean that was 2005. So 39 was Patriots, 38 would have been Patriots, 37 would be 2002 2003 season Tampa Bay Buccaneers over Oakland Raiders. And who was the MVP that game?
What is that game? What is that game also known as?
The John Gruden Bowl.
The John Gruden Bowl. Yep.
Okay, so the MVP, I might have spoke too soon. The MVP for that one, it was like
it's a tough one.
It was like a cornerback or a safety that had like 2 interceptions and didn't do anything else for the rest of his career. I'm not gonna get it.
Dexter Jackson, safety.
I wanted to say Dexter Lawrence, but I'm like, he's not a DB. Dexter Jackson. Okay.
Wow. Well done. Well done. And let's see, just for anyone wondering, 37 out of 57 is a 65%. So
I could give it more than that. Let me make it.
Make it 41.
I'll make
Colts.
it 41 out of 57.
41 out of 57. That's a much more generous 72%. And it's the one that the Colts won.
Yep, I'll stay there. So that's a 7 out of 10 on another scale.
Yeah. Yep.
Seems right.
Okay. Well, do we have any Super Bowl predictions?
I like the Eagles. I'm gonna say
like you like them, like as in you're rooting for them, or you like them as in you like them to win the game.
Like I like their team. I like the way it's built. I wouldn't mind them winning, but I was gonna say I think Patrick Mahomes gets his second.
I think you have a score.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be pretty high scoring. I think both offenses will be rolling. Let's say 38-31.
Okay. 38-31. I can dig it. And I'd be happy with that result because I'm rooting for the Chiefs. Because I really like Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and Travis Kelce and all those guys. I am worried we might see a repeat of when this Chiefs played the Bucks and he was totally let down by his receiving core. They couldn't get open. He was running for his life the entire game because I think they are very fortunate they didn't lose against the Bengals because the offense looked pretty anemic for the second half of the game. And I'm worried that we might see that, if Mahomes is limping and their receivers are limping, then the game's going to be over before it gets started. So, but I'm going to assume that everyone is going to come into the game healthy and remain healthy. If the Chiefs receivers leave the game healthy, I think that they win. And I'm going to say I think we see I'll say a 27-17 Super Bowl. I think the bright lights might be a little too bright for the Eagles.
Yeah.
They're just young, I wouldn't expect them to come into the Super Bowl being this young and everyone plays to like their full potential.
Sure. Even if they lose, like I feel good about their odds of being
absolutely
back.
Oh my god, yeah. There's so it would not surprise me if they won, but I do think if the Chiefs are healthy, they win. If they aren't healthy, I think we could see another like 31-10 type of game because that the Chiefs offense looked so bad against the Bengals. They're so lucky that they won that game.
Well, I also think there's something to, the Chiefs barely got past that game. The Eagles
handily
they handily won the NFC Championship game. I
And
feel
they
like
handily won the Giant, and they handily beat the Giants. The Eagles have not been tested by like anybody all year.
exactly.
So that's why I think they could come out and just put up a dud.
And I think there's something too when you've been rolling that much that long, like at some point it's going to end. Like whenever we go in talking about, oh, this team barely won last week and this team killed the other team last week, and we have that dynamic. I feel like as soon as people talk about it, that's when it shifts.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I'll be rooting for the Chiefs. My we'll call him rival, and I'm putting it in quotes, in my fantasy league is like the biggest Eagles fan in the world. And watching the Eagles win the Super Bowl against the Patriots years ago was like one of the most fun days ever, because
That was
I
a great
hated the
game.
Patriots at the time as much as he loved the Eagles. But now he's my rival. So I don't want them to win, but also there's a little 6th grade girl at the school, and she's like the biggest Eagles fan in the world. And I'm like, oh, but I kind of want her to be happy, So,
Yeah.
But I'm rooting for the Chiefs. I'll be happy with the Chiefs win.
Gotcha.
Sorry if my dogs are going crazy in the background as we wrap up.
It's okay. So, John, given that this is probably our only completely football themed episode, I know we talk about it a lot. Do you have a favorite football movie?
Remember the Titans, 100%.
You want to expand on that?
Oh, gosh. I mean, let's see. Oh my gosh, Zach. You know what I'm realizing right this second?
What's that?
Someone gets hurt. The coach gives an inspirational speech. The injured player comes back in and scores They watched Hoosiers and read Spider-Man before writing Remember the Titans.
It was directly based off of this Web of Spider-Man issue.
I think it might have been.
Wow. That's great.
What's yours?
So you're going to be surprised by this. For as much as I love football and as much as I love movies, I really do not like most football movies. I don't know why. I think it's that they have to lean on those like sports tropes, that we were just talking about. And
Remember the Titans is timeless.
Dude, I cannot sit through Remember the Titans.
It's not about, I think it's not about football, Zach.
Right.
Okay. It's about black people and white people learning to live together.
Well,
a message that transcends football.
I can get behind that. I don't know why.
You're like, I cannot sit through an hour and a half of that message.
No. I think football movies are really drama movies with a little bit of football around them. And if I'm in a football mood, I'm just going to watch the whole game, man.
Okay. I can appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I do have a favorite football adjacent movie, which is Draft Day with Kevin Costner. I watch it every year before the draft. And
oh my gosh,
I wanted to be an NFL scout. I wanted to be one of the people in those rooms. And let me tell you, it's not even a little bit accurate.
That's why I am so surprised that it's your favorite movie, because I was hoping you were not about to be like, he's just such a good GM. He's wheeling and dealing, baby.
Absolutely not. Like, I wouldn't even run a fantasy team like that. But the one thing that it is very good at is it captures the spirit of the draft, just like the optimism and the excitement of the day.
Hello, Shyla.
John says hello.
Hi.
You leaving?
Yeah.
All right. Love you.
All right. I don't know what time we'll be back.
Okay. Love you.
All right.
Bye.
That was Zach's wife, Shyla.
Yeah, she had to make a cameo appearance.
Yes. Okay, tell me more about Draft Day.
Yeah, it's just like it captures the spirit of how exciting the draft is, that there's all these brand new shiny players that are entering the league and you don't know which one's going to be on your team. And then once you do draft him, you can delude yourself into believing he was the best guy in that draft class and he's going to be a Hall of Famer. And everyone across the league is doing the exact same thing. It's like the only like day in football that everyone feels good.
Well, I don't feel good about the draft usually.
Really?
As a Colts fan. But I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I'll always be salty about Quentin Nelson being drafted before Josh Allen.
Oh, I mean, we had Andrew Luck at the time. Why would we have taken Josh Allen?
We had Andrew Luck for like 3 more weeks.
But we didn't. No, we had him.
I know.
No.
We didn't know.
We had him that whole season. Josh Allen's rookie season. We had Andrew Luck.
I looked it up. I have looked it up, and now you're gonna make me look it up again because I'm pretty sure that the draft's in April, right? And I'm pretty sure Andrew Luck retired that August.
What year did Andrew Luck retire? Don't look it up.
Oh,
it was 2019.
I unfortunately just looked it up, but yeah, August of 2019.
And Quentin Nelson and Josh Allen were in the 2018 draft. Because we got a season of Nelson and Luck
with
together.
Luck?
Yeah.
Okay, well, my revisionist history says something different.
All right, I'll have to honor that next time we talk about this.
But I think the only wrong thing you said about draft day was it's exactly like I run my fantasy team. I am wheeling and dealing. I'm talking to one guy and I'm telling him, I'm talking to Ben right now. I'm about to get this guy to Ben. I can flip him to you for somebody else, That's all I'm doing.
Right, but you're not trading away a bunch of assets at 9 a.m. and then trading back for what you could have had at 10 a.m., but you're still out like those mid-round picks, but you did it with style.
And then you somehow get them all back at the end of the day, plus more.
But he didn't even. That's the thing. People think that that final note is like triumphant.
But he still like lost a first-round pick or something.
He lost a lot. I mean, I'd have to go back and rewatch and keep track of it, but he definitely overpaid for, and this is something that we Colts fans know too well. He overpaid to build in the non-premium positions. He got like a linebacker and a running back.
Yeah, that's good. Linebacker, running back, franchise pick. That's pretty good. It was Chadwick Boseman, or he was the linebacker, right?
Yeah, Chadwick was the linebacker.
Yeah,
Vontae Mack, no matter what. All right, this was fun. This was a good first bonus episode. Catch us next week back in our regularly scheduled coverage of the Ultimate Spider-Man series.
See ya.
Bye.